There are words that reveal more than actions ever could. When a woman speaks certain truths, they don't come from a place of momentary anger. They come from a place of deep reality. And if you listen carefully, you'll realize these words are not meant to challenge you. They are meant to warn you. Because no matter how much you give, no matter how much you invest, when these sentences are spoken, it is not your responsibility to fight harder. It is your responsibility to walk away. In this message, I will share with you the 5 most dangerous things a woman can tell you. And if you ever hear them, you need to understand that staying will only cost you your dignity, your peace, and your power. Disrespect disguised as honesty is one of the most dangerous traps a man can fall into because it presents itself as truth, as transparency, as a form of directness that is supposedly valuable in a relationship. But the reality is far darker than what it appears to be on the surface. When a woman speaks to you in a way that consistently undermines your worth, belittles your choices, or makes you question your very identity as a man, she often cloaks it with the phrase, "I'm just being honest," or "I'm only telling you the truth." These words are not innocent. They are a shield, a way of justifying cruelty under the mask of authenticity. True honesty is meant to guide, to uplift, to help you become better. But when her words cut into your self-esteem, when they diminish your value instead of inspiring your growth, you are not receiving honesty. You are being fed poison wrapped in pretty packaging. And many men fail to see the difference until it is too late. This type of disrespect often begins subtly, almost unnoticeably, and that is why it is so dangerous. She may comment on your work, your appearance, or your goals, not in a constructive way, but in a tone that carries dismiss, sarcasm, or disdain. It could be small remarks such as, "Why can't you ever get it right?" or other, "Men are doing so much more than you." The disguise is that she claims she is being truthful, that she wants the best for you. But if you listen closely, the intent is not to help you grow, but to make you feel smaller. Over time, these disguised attacks begin to sink deep into your subconscious, making you believe you are inadequate, making you second guesses yourself, and creating a cycle where you keep trying harder to earn her respect while she keeps taking more of your power. What men often fail to realize is that respect in a relationship is not something that can be bargained for. It is not something you can beg for, and it is not something you can earn by constantly proving your worth. Respect is either there from the beginning or it is not. And when a woman speaks to you in ways that break your spirit, no amount of sacrifice, effort, or devotion will suddenly make her see you differently. Disrespect disguised as honesty is the clearest sign that she does not value you as you are. And instead of uplifting your masculine energy, she is draining it, pulling it down, and keeping you in a place of weakness where you begin to lose your sense of self. The saddest part is that many men excuse this behavior because they confuse it with care. They believe that her criticism is a form of love, that her harshness is simply her way of being real. And they tell themselves that this is what a strong woman does. But strength is not about tearing someone down. It is about standing beside them while they grow. When a woman constantly hides her disrespect behind honesty, she is not building you up. She is teaching you to accept less, to normalize verbal wounds, and to tolerate an environment where your masculinity is diminished little by little until you no longer recognize yourself. The moment you begin to confuse cruelty with truth is the moment you have already surrendered your power. When a woman begins to question your masculinity, it strikes at the very core of who you are, because masculinity is not simply about physical strength or external success. It is about presence, direction, confidence, and the energy you carry into the world. When she uses words that belittle those qualities, when she tells you that you are not man enough, that you are too weak, or that you lack the ability to lead, she is not simply making a comment in passing. She is attacking the very essence of your identity. Many times this will be disguised as a challenge, framed as if she is pushing you to do better, but the tone reveals something deeper. Instead of encouragement, her words carry contempt. And instead of motivating you, they make you question your value as a man. This is not love, because love does not seek to strip you of your identity. It seeks to empower it. It often begins with subtle remarks, small statements that may not seem significant at first, but carry weight in how they land. She may laugh at your ambitions, mock the way you handle responsibility, or dismiss your ability to protect and provide, not because she wants to inspire you to improve, but because she has already decided that who you are is not enough. For a man, hearing these words repeatedly can become devastating, because masculinity thrives on respect. And when the woman closest to you withholds that respect, it begins to corrode your inner strength. You start questioning yourself, doubting your decisions, and altering your natural instincts to try and meet her approval. Yet the truth is that her approval will never come. Because once she decides to see you as less of a man, she no longer values you in the way you deserve. The danger in this situation is that many men take these attacks as motivation. They think, I need to prove her wrong, or I need to show her that I am strong enough. But when you start living in a state of constant proving, you lose the quiet confidence that defines true masculinity. You become reactive instead of grounded, desperate instead of composed. And this is exactly what strips you further of the respect you are trying so hard to gain. A woman who questions your masculinity is not opening the door for you to grow. She is closing the door on her own ability to see you as a leader, as a protector, and as a man she admires. And no matter what you do, once her perception shifts in that direction, her words will continue to reflect it. It is important to understand that healthy relationships allow for accountability and growth. But accountability is very different from humiliation. If a woman encourages you to step into your potential, she does so with support, faith, and belief in who you are, not with insults and belittlement. When she begins to question your masculinity, it is not a sign of her wanting the best for you. It is a sign that she has already lost respect for the man you are today. And without respect, there is no foundation for love, because respect is the soil where love grows. And once that soil is poisoned with contempt, nothing fruitful can ever rise from it. When a woman begins to compare you with other men, she is not simply making an observation. She is revealing a lack of appreciation for who you are at your core, because comparisons are never neutral. They always carry judgment. They always carry an unspoken message that says you are not enough as you are. The moment she starts to say things like, why can't you be more like him? Or look at how other men treat their women. She is not trying to inspire you. She is trying to diminish you. And those comparisons dig deep into your sense of self-worth. For a man, nothing is more destructive than realizing that the woman he gives his energy to is measuring him against another man, because it instantly communicates that his individuality, his uniqueness, his effort, and his essence are not being seen or valued. Instead of being loved for who he is being judged by a standard that belongs to someone else. At first, these comparisons may seem harmless, sometimes even disguised as playful remarks or light-hearted jokes. But underneath them lies a serious message. When she constantly points out the achievements, behaviors, or gestures of other men, she is planting seeds of doubt in your mind. She is making you believe that you must change yourself in order to be worthy of her love. And once you accept that, you step into a trap where you are no longer living from your masculine strength, but from a place of insecurity. This cycle makes you overanalyze your every move, trying to match or exceed the standard she is, setting based on someone else's life. But the truth is, no matter how much you adjust, no matter how much you change, those comparisons will not stop because they are not about you failing. They are about her failure to value you. The most dangerous part of this dynamic is that it creates silent competition where there should be partnership. A man's role is not to compete with other men to earn the loyalty of the woman he is already committed to. His role is to live in his own authenticity, to grow in his own direction, and to share that journey with someone who honors it. When she brings other men into the conversation, she disrupts that natural flow and injects insecurity into the bond. Instead of being your ally, she becomes a critic who holds a scoreboard, constantly keeping track of how others are outperforming you. And when love turns into measurement, it ceases to be love. Because love is not about numbers, comparisons, or rankings. It is about recognition and acceptance. What men often overlook is that comparison is a direct sign of emotional disconnection. When a woman truly admires you, she doesn't see other men. She doesn't use them as a standard to measure you by because in her eyes, you already embody the values she desires. But when she begins to openly highlight others in your presence, she is telling you, without saying it, that her focus is shifting, that her respect for you has weakened, and that she no longer sees you as her source of admiration. That is why a woman who compares you to others is not simply making a comment. She is exposing the reality of how she views you. And once those comparisons become frequent, they serve as a warning that the bond is no longer built on genuine love and respect. When a woman tells you she doesn't need you, those words cut deeper than any action because they strike at the foundation of what masculine energy longs to bring into a relationship. The desire to provide, to protect, to be valued for his presence and his contribution. A healthy woman can be independent. She can stand on her own 2 feet. She can handle her responsibilities. But when independence is weaponized into dismissal, when it turns into a declaration that your presence is irrelevant, then what she is truly saying is that she has no place for your masculinity in her life. It is not about strength anymore. It is about rejection. She is not communicating capability. She is communicating detachment, and many men miss this subtle difference because they confuse empowerment with disconnection. The truth is that the words "I don't need" you are not about whether she can survive on her own, because any adult can build a life for themselves if they choose to. But relationships are not about survival. They are about choosing each other despite the ability to stand alone. When she tells you she doesn't need you, what she is really saying is that she does not choose you. She does not prioritize your role in her life, and she does not see value in your presence. A woman who values her man may be fiercely independent, but she will always acknowledge his importance. She will always respect the role he plays because love is no tea about needing someone in order to function. It is about wanting someone even when you don't have to. These words also strip a man of the very essence that fuels his masculine drive. Masculinity thrives when it is received, when it is welcomed, when it is appreciated. A man wants to pour into his woman, not because she cannot survive without him, but because she allows him to contribute to her life in ways that bring meaning to both of them. When she says she doesn't need him, she is not only shutting the door to his contribution, she is also making him feel redundant, as though his presence adds nothing of value. Over time, these words drain him. They make him pull back his energy. They make him question his role until eventually he feels invisible in his own relationship. And no man can continue to thrive where he is treated as an option instead of an asset. The danger here is that many men ignore these words, convincing themselves that she didn't mean it, that it was said in the heat of the moment, that it was only a reflection of her independence. But repetition is what reveals the truth. If she continually insists she doesn't need you, she is creating distance, she is building walls, and she is making it clear that your role in her life is replaceable. This type of mindset is a slow poison because it makes you invest in someone who has already declared that your investment is meaningless. And once a woman truly believes she does not need you, she will not honor your sacrifices, she will not cherish your efforts, and she will not hold your presence as sacred because in her heart she has already dismissed it. When a woman openly shows disinterest in your future, it is not just a passing remark or a careless statement. It is one of the most revealing truths about how she views you and the relationship. A woman who loves you, who respects you, and who sees value in you will naturally attach herself to your vision, not because she cannot create her own, but because she wants to walk alongside you. As you create yours. When she dismisses your goals, ignores your dreams, or tells you outright that she does not see you in her long-term plans, she is not being indecisive. She is being brutally clear. And as painful as those words are, they are not an invitation to fight harder. They are a signal that you are investing in someone who has already emotionally detached herself from your journey. The most dangerous part of this type of disinterest is how subtle it can appear at first. She may not directly say, "You are not part of my future," but she will express it in ways that reveal her heart. When you speak about your goals, she does not listen with enthusiasm. When you talk about where you see yourself 5 years from now, she changes the subject. When you make plans that include her, she avoids commitment or dismisses the idea altogether. These are not small details. They are signs of disengagement because a woman who truly sees you as her man will be invested in every detail of where you are heading, not because she controls it, but because she wants to be part of the path you are building. The absence of that interest is the absence of connection, and without connection, no relationship can survive. Another layer to this reality is the way she reacts when you succeed or take steps toward your goals. A woman who believes in you will celebrate you. She will be proud of your progress. She will encourage you to keep going. But a woman who is disinterested in your future will respond with indifference. She will not share in your excitement, and she may even downplay your achievements. This indifference is more painful than criticism because criticism at least shows engagement, but indifference reveals that she has already checked out emotionally. When she stops caring about where you are going, she is silently saying that she does not intend to walk that road with you. For a man, this is one of the hardest truths to accept because men are wired to build, to plan, to lead into the future. And part of that vision often includes the woman by his side. And she tells you she does not see herself there, or when her actions reveal that she has no interest in being part of that vision. It is devastating, but it is also clarifying. It tells you exactly where she stands, and it saves you from wasting years trying to convince someone to believe in a future they never wanted in the first place. Many men make the mistake of thinking they can win her over with time, with more effort, with more proof of their worth. But once she declares disinterest in your tomorrow, she has already made peace with the idea of living without you. When a woman tells you to change who you are, she is not speaking about growth. She is speaking about control. And this is one of the most dangerous moments a man can experience in a relationship because it strikes at the essence of his identity. Growth is a natural and healthy part of life. It is about becoming the best version of yourself while staying true to your core values, your principles, and your masculine energy. But when a woman demands that you alter your fundamental nature to suit her preferences, to fit her expectations, or to align with her desires, she is not asking for improvement. She is asking for surrender. And surrendering to this kind of manipulation slowly erodes the man you are, because every adjustment you make chips away at the confidence, the independence, and the authenticity that define you. This behavior often starts subtly with suggestions that seem harmless at first. Phrases like, "You should be more like this," or "You need to act differently if you want me to respect you." But over time, these suggestions become demands, and the line between gentle guidance and control disappears entirely. A man may begin to comply, thinking that accommodating her wishes will strengthen the relationship. That compromise is part of love. But there is a crucial difference between compromise and eraser. Compromise allows for mutual adaptation while maintaining personal integrity. But when she tells you to change your core, she is asking you to erase pieces of yourself, to become someone she prefers rather than someone she loves. And once a man starts living as someone else, he begins to feel hollow, disconnected from his instincts, and trapped in a cycle where he is constantly performing rather than living authentically. The danger here is also psychological, because many men are raised to protect the relationship at all costs, to adapt, to adjust, and to bend for the sake of harmony. When a woman insists that you change your essence, it creates a subtle form of manipulation where you start questioning your worth. You ask yourself whether you are inherently flawed, whether your natural tendencies are not good enough, and whether you must sacrifice who you are to maintain the bond. But the truth is that love never asks a man to abandon his core. Love encourages him to grow without diminishing his identity. A woman who truly values you will support your strengths, respect your principles, and challenge you to improve without ever asking you to be someone you are not. This demand for transformation also undermines the masculine energy that a man brings into a relationship. Masculinity thrives when it is recognized, respected, and allowed to lead naturally. When a woman tells you to change, she is rejecting the essence of your presence and attempting to mold it to her vision. And this rejection creates tension, resentment, and disconnection over time. The more you attempt to conform to her expectations, the less she sees the real you, and the more you lose touch with the confidence, strength, and authority that first drew her to you. What begins as a conversation about adjustment quickly becomes a subtle form of control, a way to diminish your power while keeping you tethered to someone who will never fully respect the man you are. The truth is that words reveal more than actions ever could, and when a woman speaks in ways that disrespect you, question your masculinity, compare you to other men, tell you she doesn't need you, shows disinterest in your future, or asks you to change who you are. She is not simply expressing a fleeting thought. She is exposing the reality of how she views you, the relationship, and your worth. These are not minor issues to be brushed aside or inconveniences to endure. They are clear signals that your energy, your presence, and your masculine essence are being devalued. A man cannot build a life, a vision, or a future with someone who does not see him as a partner, as a man worthy of respect, and as someone whose contribution matters. Staying in such a relationship does not strengthen love. It erodes self-respect, drains confidence, and slowly robs a man of the power that makes him whole. Understanding these truths is not about bitterness, it is about clarity. It is about seeing the signs before they cost you years of emotional investment. It is about honoring yourself enough to walk away when the foundation of respect and admiration is absent. Every man deserves a woman who uplifts him, who celebrates him, who sees his vision as part of her own, and who values him without expecting him to erase who he is. Love is meant to complement your strength, not challenge it unnecessarily. It is meant to enhance your energy, not diminish it. And it is meant to create partnership, not competition or submission. Recognizing the words that signal danger allows a man to reclaim his power, to protect his dignity, and to choose a path where his essence is honored rather than questioned. At the end of the day, a man's responsibility is not to fix someone else's perception of him. It is to honor his own worth and his own truth. When a woman tells you these things, it is a reflection of her boundaries, her intentions, and her perception. And it is not a reflection of failure on your part. It is an opportunity to step away, to reclaim your energy, and to redirect your life towards someone who sees you as the prize you are. Walking away is not defeat. It is wisdom. It is strength. And it is the ultimate expression of self-respect, because no man should compromise his essence, his masculinity, or his vision for someone who does not value it. Recognizing these signs, honoring your own worth, and choosing to leave when necessary is how a man preserves his power, his dignity, and his future